Hello, everybody. It's Jeremy here with Jeremy Athletics. I'm sitting down with our new podcast, MMA Brain, to go over UFC 322. With me, I've got Samuel Sloan. Sam's the heavyweight champion at Rival FC here in Paducah, and I figured there wasn't anybody else to come in and break down this card with me. This is one of the biggest cards we've got coming this year, that's happened this year. One of the biggest super fights of all time. Sam, what are your thoughts on the main event?
Dude, it's JDM's first title defense being against, pound for pound, basically number one, Islam Makhachev. I mean, if he does it, he sets himself up for a really good career at welterweight. If Islam gets double champ status, we're talking about, like, go to the sports stuff. So there's a lot riding on this main event. I think it's going to be a war.
Yeah, I mean, JDM, he has really shown that he's pretty well balanced everywhere. And, I mean, Islam, his record speaks for himself. I mean, the way he fought Poirier, the way that he's beaten so many of the different lightweight contenders. It'll definitely be interesting to see because he will finally be breaking through and doing something that Khabib never attempted to. Mm-hmm. And that'll kind of be interesting. I feel like throughout his career, everybody has compared him to, is he as good as Khabib? And do you think that this sets him beyond that? Or do you think he's already to that point?
I think he's already better. I think Islam is the best lightweight of all time.
Right now, yes. Already? Okay. Yeah. Do you think that's what do you think gives him the edge over Khabib?
The level of competition he fought. Khabib won the belt off Ally Aquinta in a 5-round fight. You know, he took him the distance. He didn't finish him. And then his 3 title defenses are Gaethje, Poirier, and Conor. Mm-hmm. I mean, Conor's the biggest hype machine in UFC history. But when you're talking about like actual resumes, I mean, he didn't have that good of a ground game. Poirier doesn't have that good of a ground game. I know he's a jiu-jitsu black belt, but in MMA, he's not submitting people outside of Michael Chandler who doesn't have a brain. You know, Gaethje doesn't have a ground game. Mm-hmm. Very kind of like, I think, a thin resume. Whereas Islam, even before he got to the title, he has good wins. He has Arman, early on in the UFC, he beat Arman by decision. Then he beat Dan Hooker by Kimura in the first round. And then he beat, it's not that good. It's not aging very well, but Bobby Green at the time was a decent win. Then to go and beat Charles Oliveira, the 3rd best lightweight of all time. Then defended against, was his first defense against Poirier?
I think, honestly, you're better on having the UFC records memorized than I am, man. You're sitting here listing them off. Yeah, I was going to say, even the way he beat Charles, though, I think the way that when you bring that up, the way Islam beat Charles, that cemented him as good as Khabib, in my opinion.
His first defense was against Volk coming up at the time.
Oh, yeah.
We're dumb. Volk, pound for pound number 1 at the time, takes him to a 5-round war. Islam wins that fight, but it was just an insane war. Then, he's supposed to get it against Charles again. Then Charles pulls out. He gets Volk on short notice. He beats Volk a second time, this time in round 1. But, they called Volk in on 5 days' notice. Volk showed up fat.
Yeah, no, honestly, I feel like looking back on those fights, because didn't Volk and Usman both take those fights short notice around the same time?
Yeah,
it was at the same card?
Yeah.
That we watched their careers end, dude. I said that going in when I saw them both, because I think Usman with a full camp could have beat Chimaev.
I think Usman got that fight to a draw. I don't think Khamzat won that fight. I think it was a draw. Khamzat got a 10-8 in round 1, and then I think Usman won the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, no, that's fair because, round 2 was a bit up in the air. Round 3, he was clearly showing that he was the tide had completely turned already. If that had been 5 rounds, he would have 100% put him out of there. Yeah. So it is interesting to see and compare them because you're right. Khabib never really fought competition like that. Islam is kind of stuck around a lot more. He's defended the belt against the absolute best, against Volk trying to break records versus Khabib did his 3 defenses a lot. And people act like Conor did worse in that fight than he did. And
Conor did good in the Khabib fight, but he still did get finished.
Oh, he got finished. It's like, I feel like people even shit on Conor there when it's like, man, if he could do that well and defend takedowns even at the beginning, when we know he wasn't training. We know he was partying 24/7. Imagine what a prime, actually motivated Conor could have done. And I don't see that Conor beating Islam at all. Islam's hands are good. I think he's got more dog in him, frankly. We've seen him tested more than Khabib. Khabib never got tested like Islam when Islam fought Dustin. And Islam, we watched him dig deep, pull in, and I mean that reversal he did to get the sub at the end was insane. So I mean,
it was insane, but I also don't know how I like you having to go for a Hail Mary takedown attempt. You know, once he got to that front headlock Darce position, beautiful. But if he didn't get Dustin down there, there's a chance Dustin finishes in there. He was gassed bad. That was a Hail Mary. Like, I think he said in an interview after the fight, like, I was thinking, like, brother, I hope I get this. Please work. Like, I don't know if I like that. You know, Poirier's old. He's got one hip.
This was literally his last fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he fought Max Holloway.
Oh yeah. My bad. Yeah, that was his last shot at like gold or anything like that. You know, I mean, which Max put him away too. I'm really sure, but that's a whole nother. I'll go on a tangent all day long on that. And
I think JDM is just a bigger, better version of Dustin Poirier. I think he's got better takedown defense. I think his boxing is crisper. I think Poirier has a bit more like finishing ability with the boxing, but I do like JDM's like the way he throws combos and techniques. I think it's crispier than Poirier's. I think his head movement's better. And one thing I wanted to mention about Khabib and Islam that like I see a bunch of people I think misconstrue is that their actual wrestling is not that good. What they're really, really good at is their cage wrestling. They're out in the open takedowns. Both of them have pretty low percentage at finishing them. And like you said, Conor was able to defend it against Khabib. But what happens is usually they'll rush forward with something or a combo, and then they'll get in the clinch situation. And the moment they get your back against the fence, you're probably going down. But, I mean, you look at Khabib's career, and I'm pretty sure it was – the guy's name is escaping me. But, like, early on in his career, he couldn't get a single takedown on this. It was, like, 2 or 3 fights in the UFC. He couldn't get a single takedown on him. Then when he fought Al Iaquinta for 5 rounds, he got him down, but Al did pretty good to defend the takedowns out in the open. So
I'm going to see if I can find his record real quick.
And JDM's footwork is elite. So I think if he's able to keep his back off the fence, and Islam is still probably going to be able to take him down, but I think Islam needs to get a sub probably in under 3 rounds, or else JDM's going to start running away with it, because when JDM is tired, he doesn't break. He keeps throwing more output. You're going to have that output in your face the entire fight. And I mean, he's not putting people, you know, he has, but he's not at the highest level. He's not putting people away with that many punches, but the volume is insane. I mean, look at how we regard Max Holloway. Nobody's saying like, oh, Max isn't putting people away at 145. They're saying this dude's one of the best boxers in the UFC. I think JDM's right up there. I think he's like top 3 boxers in the UFC.
I saw Mighty Mouse doing his void breakdown the other day, and he compared JDM's striking to Conor's. And at first I thought that was a crazy take, and then I went back and I rewatched, and even the way that they throw is very similar. The way they set up their range. We also know that Islam has already expressed a couple times now that he has struggled to put weight on. Thanks, Tony. Yeah, Tony got it. They hopped in, said great work. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for always being in here and watching the stream, for real. No, I think it's very up. Pedro, what's up, buddy? What's up? We got a surprise guest with us today, apparently, Mr. Pedro. But man, what was I saying? Yeah, I think that JDM versus. Sorry, I lost my concentration there for a second.
JDM Islam?
Yeah, JDM Islam. We were talking about JDM striking.
Like Conor.
How he was very similar to Conor. And the other thing was Islam's weight. He said a couple times now that he's been struggling in order to put weight on. He said that he's using creatine for the first time now. So it's interesting. He's not going to have that kind of advantage that he did at 155.
Have you seen the final weigh-in photos?
I have not. I actually did not see the final weigh-ins, which makes me such a bad podcast host for not looking stuff.
I have them on my phone. JDM's big, and Islam looks
Yeah.
He looks big.
Islam looks like he's not having a good time. I mean,
No,
JDM
which is
doesn't
weird
either.
because usually when you move up a weight class, you do have an easier time getting to that weight.
Yeah.
But Islam looks bad. Plus, he also doesn't look that big.
Yeah.
JDM looks big and looks about how he usually does. I think JDM has a good cut, but I don't think he's killing himself to get to 170. So how do you kill yourself to get to 170 and also not look that good
Well,
or that big?
well, yeah, no, you're right on that one. I
Here,
mean,
Nigel.
yeah, buddy, you know what? He does not realize that we are in a podcast right now. It's okay.
I think he does, and he's doing it to spite us.
Yeah, you know what? He's going to get us the extra viewers. That's what we're going to do. He's coming in to give us the... But yeah, I mean, honestly, after saying all that, my gut kind of goes JDM. I feel like Islam's trying to do something. He's trying to move up. I think between the weight and the fact that, I mean, he still went 5 rounds with Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
And I mean, Dustin Poirier is great, but like, I don't think Dustin is. I don't know. I'm not gonna do Dustin Poirier blasphemy.
He's old.
Yeah, he was on his way out.
Yes.
I mean, like, you should not have been I would have expected him to put him away faster.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think seeing
Especially considering how Benoit did Dustin in round 1. I know Dustin finished him in the second, but in round 1, Benoit was going towards like some submission attempts, and he landed some good ground and pound. And you're like, okay, if Benoit Saint Denis is doing that to you in round 1, Islam Makhachev, the best grappler in the sport, should definitely be able to, maybe minus Hamzat, but one of the best grapplers in the lighter weight classes, he should be able to just destroy you. And then he takes him 5 rounds. So it's going to be interesting. And I don't know, just it depends on how much this fight takes place on the ground. We're going to see if the Craig Jones get-up system is really that good. Because this is another point I wanted to bring up. How many submission attempts did Islam attempt on Volk in their first fight? There wasn't really a significant submission attempt that entire thing. And Volk had Craig Jones in his camp for the lead up to that fight. So if we can argue, like if you have to make the debate and the pick, oh, who am I picking, Islam versus JDM, and you can say for certain, hey, make your pick, but also know that Islam isn't going to have a significant submission attempt, oh, I'm going with JDM.
See, I didn't even think about the Craig Jones factor at all. I've heard, again, I was watching a podcast the other day, I think it was Adesanya sitting down with JDM, and he was saying that JDM shows Craig Jones stuff.
Craig Jones has been saying that, yeah. And I think he's kind of big upping him.
Yeah.
There's also footage leading up into the Bilal fight, like of a gym camera where JDM put Craig Jones to sleep. So I think Craig lets JDM big up himself.
Yeah, I think they're definitely overhyping it a little bit, but it was very interesting. Because, I'm not super knowledgeable in the jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, the first time I even watched any of Craig Jones' stuff, I think really it was when I went to New York with John, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'd heard him mentioned, but it would be interesting to see that style of jiu-jitsu be what actually finally defeats this Dagestani wrestling that has been destroying my bets for the last 5 years. So
Craig Jones actually released a very funny video about how, nobody asked Dagestan where they get their wrestling from. And all of a sudden, around the same time that Dagestan started having really good wrestling was when GSP was in its prime. And Craig Jones basically broke down how, like, the Dagestans just copied GSP style of MMA wrestling and slapped a label on it. It's a very interesting video. Go to Craig Jones's YouTube channel and watch that. It was a good watch.
Okay. No, I'll have to watch that here in a little bit because that sounds interesting. I wasn't around to watch a lot of GSP when he was actually fighting. I think I just missed that whole era, honestly.
Yeah.
But
I jumped in a lot later than you guys. One of my first events, I think, was like Pereira Adesanya 2.
Oh, wow.
So I haven't been watching for that long.
Man, I think the first fights I remember watching, I was going to show me's with my brothers, and we were watching. I remember watching Ronda Rousey lose to Holm and to Nunes. But I also remember her fighting a couple no names going into that, and us just hating her as fans. And then I remember watching Lawler versus McDonald, but I couldn't tell you if it was the first one or the second one.
Yeah, both fights were good.
it's interesting because now we're getting to a point. This is why I have to have somebody like you come on here
Mhm.
because all of these fighters that I was watching and actually keeping track of are on their way out,
Yeah.
and some of these newer generation guys, I'm like, oh, and I have to increase my knowledge on a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that being said, man, I mean, I agree. If Islam pulls this off, GOAT status. I mean, he's 100% the greatest of all time.
He's at least up there. I already think like, okay, I'm kind of a new gen guy. Like, I'm very biased towards new gen fighters. I think Islam's already like at least top 7, top 6.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, we could go. Well, we need to come up with a GOAT list later.
I can do a podcast.
Yeah. Well, we could do a whole pod about the GOAT list because I'm sure that'll garnish some interesting opinions in the comments. That's for sure.
I can have your brother write a paragraph about me on Facebook.
Oh, bro. Dude, I'll still be talking. That's how I knew I needed to do this podcast. I was talking to, I was giving Dalton my take on Weidman Silva, and Michael got so enraged, bro. He was yelling from across the house. He was like, "You don't know what you're talking about." And I'm sorry. I'm a Silva, just absolute rider from day one. Always have been. That being said, before I get into too much of a tangent, I'm feeling JDM, but if Islam pulls it off, I'm not going to be surprised at all. Do you have an actual pick, or?
Yeah, I do. It's scaring me because you would think that more people would be picking Islam, but like most people I'm seeing are saying like either JDM decision or like late rounds TKO, which is what I think is probably going to happen. Like if I had to say a pick, it'd be late rounds KO or decision for JDM. But the fact that so many people are saying that is scaring me. It's making me think that like we're gonna get a really good like 1-2 rounds out of JDM, and then he's gonna get submitted, which really scares me. Like the submission is live, 100%. It can happen. But I like for my mental sanity, I'm gonna say JDM gets it done. I think that he can be the like new gen GSP almost, like because he's got a lot of interesting matchups in front of him, like a Brady, a Shavkat, an Ian Gary, a Prates. Like there's so many people just waiting to get a shot at welterweight, and I don't want to see Islam win the belt, and then he's already said he wants to defend it against Kamaru Usman, who beat number 10 ranked Joaquin Buckley. Like, okay, I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know if that gets you a title shot now.
That's true. He hasn't really fought a top contender. He's really set up. And I mean, that's a hot take of mine. I don't think Khabib would have beat Usman if he moved up. I think that's one of the reasons Khabib didn't move up. Yeah. I think Usman would have absolutely tore him a new one in 5 rounds.
But he probably would have knocked him out standing.
Yeah. Now I don't know if Usman is the last.
Usman can't beat Islam.
He
doesn't even deserve a title shot. This would be like a Jones-Stipe situation.
Yeah,
Usman's old. He's not as bad as Stipe. You know, he still beat a top 10 contender. I wish Joaquin Buckley would have remembered how to defend a takedown before round 5. Because in round 5, he said, I have to get what's this called, an underhook? They showed him what an underhook was in the corner, and he went, oh, shit. And he's just chucking Usman around the cage and beating the shit out of him for an entire round. So
yeah, he's definitely sat around a while, which I think they said, is it Brady versus, I'm going to use my cheek phone because I don't remember. Yeah, Brady versus Morales. They did say that that's going to be the next title shot.
So someone asked Dana at the press conference if that would be, and he went, yeah, sure. So that would be. That should be the next title shot, but who knows? You know, Dana wants to give. If Islam wins and he wants to get against Usman, I think they'll make that because that probably does sell a lot of pay-per-views. But I think it should be, you know, JDM wins this. It keeps the universe right, like it's how it's supposed to be, and then probably defends against Brady. We can talk about that fight in a little bit.
I didn't think about that either. That's the other reason we need JDM to win. So we get Ilya versus Islam.
Islam said he's not going back down to 155.
At all.
Yeah, ever.
I wonder if he changes his tune after the amount of issues he's had putting the weight on.
Well, I just don't know what's going on because he looked like death trying to get to 170.
Yeah.
So like maybe you can't go back down to 155. But also, if he does lose to JDM, like, does he just become like a regular contender? Like, who do we give him? That'd be weird.
If he loses, I could see him fighting Usman. That would make more sense.
That would make a lot of sense.
That would make more
add
sense.
that would add to his legacy, and we're not log jamming the division. Because, like I said, we've got like 5 or 6 guys waiting on title shots right now, especially after this weekend.
You've got Shavkat was injured.
He doesn't deserve a title shot, in my opinion.
Yeah, as I was saying, he fought a couple top contenders, and then he's been out
to not pull out against the wall.
Yeah, he's been out for what, like over a year now?
Yeah, and he just had to get another surgery, so he's out for like another 7 months.
Oh yeah, I mean his career at that point. Yeah,
he's like Dominic Cruz, but without the belt.
Yeah, that's a fair take. Okay, well, here's a fight that nobody seems to be talking about, and I don't know why. Zhang Weili, Valentina Shevchenko.
I feel like everybody's talking about this fight.
I have not seen the most media coverage I've seen on it is people complaining about there not being enough coverage. I haven't seen many people's opinions on it, and I'm leaning Weili. I'm gonna let you know now.
Yeah,
I feel like Valentina has been off for a couple fights now. Weili's just absolutely hungry. I think she's explosive. She's in your face. I just don't think she's going to let Valentina pace herself and hesitate and set the pace of the fight. I thought Weili is going to set the pace. And I mean, maybe I'm just falling for internet hype, but seeing that little 115-pound girl pick Francis Ngannou up into the air, I'm just like, man, what is Valentina doing to you? Like, I mean, she could knock her out. I mean, we watched Rose knock her out with one kick, and then Rose went on to just throw her career again. But that's a whole other subject. Rose is like, but when I think of Weili's past performances versus Shevchenko's, I can't think of anything that compares to like Weili versus Joanna. Which I guess that's being particular. I just feel probably the greatest women's fight of all time.
Yeah.
Like, when have we seen Valentina dig deep like that?
At least not in a while. We haven't.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like Weili is like at that point in her championship reign where she's hitting that stride. Like, if she wanted to, I could see her just kind of banging out another 2-3 title defenses. But Valentina, I feel like she's at the point where she's holding on to her best times. Like, I feel like she's over the ledge, and it's like, how quick are we going to go down? Because, I mean, she lost versus Grasso. You know, she threw that spinning kick, missed. Grasso got on her back, submitted her. And then in the rematch, a lot of controversy because they gave Grasso a round. They gave her round 5 at a 10-8, and it made it a draw, which was really controversial because it wasn't a 10-8. Although I thought Grasso won that fight just 3-2. And then, you know, they do the trilogy, and Shevchenko basically half guard camps Grasso the entire fight. They had a couple striking exchanges, and then boom, single leg in the half guard. Just throw enough punches to knock it stood up. I mean, it wasn't a very inspiring performance. And then she did defend her belt again, and it was good. Like, she looked good in the striking. She landed some nice kicks. Her boxing looked crisp, but you could tell she wasn't going for the finish on the feet. And then same thing, just take them down, positionally control. And I feel like once you get to that point, I feel like that's kind of the point Izzy got to, where it's like, oh, it's just another day in the office, like, blah, blah, blah. I'm the champion. I'm just going to do what I do. Whereas Weili is just hitting that stride of, like, here's how good I am. I'm showing everybody how good I am. I mean, her last title defense, she got a knockout, a submission, and won a decision. I remember it was at the end of the first, she dropped her, and they could have called it, but they didn't. She gets up and walks back. And then it was at the end of the third, she rear naked choked her. And when the bell rang, she let go, and she sat there for like 5 seconds like this and then got up. And then she went on to win a decision. So I think Weili still she has finishing instinct, which I like in women's MMA fighters. I don't feel like a lot of them do. A lot of them are cool to cruise to a split decision victory a lot of the time. And the fact that Weili goes out there and she's going to grit down and get the win, I like that, especially at this point in Valentina's career. Like, I think that's big towards Weili.
Yeah, I mean, Whaley has that sense of urgency that Valentina seems to be lacking, and she has more to gain. Like, if she beats Valentina, women's GOAT. I mean, not women's GOAT, but like, I'm not saying
we're arguing.
I'm not saying
That's
she's better than Nunes.
I think that's a legitimate argument.
I don't think she's been as dominant as Nunes at all. But like, bro, I don't know. I definitely think that Wiley could get there. I mean, she hasn't been as dominant though. Nunes lost one time after she like had a kid to worry about and had COVID, and then immediately came back and destroyed her. So that was just. She had such a sense of domination. Trying to say Wiley is as good as Nunes, I feel like that's a crazy take, but like, she beats Valentina, she's second.
Oh,
for
100%.
sure. I mean, well, there's no one that, I mean, you can make that argument now. And I feel like win or lose, I could see Valentina retire. If she beats Wiley, she doesn't roll. How many other defenses do you need at this point?
I couldn't see her retiring if she wins, because I bet she's on a great contract. I mean,
yeah,
she did get 7 title defenses. I bet she's getting at least like $500,000 to show and win.
You think?
Yeah.
You think she's, man? I mean, I know that she's broke records, hasn't she? For the amount of, at least there was something about the rubies that she's got. There's some kind of
she got like 9 rubies or something like that.
I mean, like, man, if Wiley beats her rematch, I mean, right off the rip,
because she only has 1 title defense.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like this is one of those that really kind of draws the line on the career. Regardless, whether she retires or not, the outcome of this fight is going to determine whether we see Valentina for much longer.
That's why I love this card so much, because like so much is at stake, mainly in the welterweight division. So much movement there. What is it? There's 6 guys in the top 10 all fighting on the main card. Like, you don't get that on a lot of cards. And then like the main event is someone's fighting for GOAT status, someone's trying to make their first title defense against pound for pound number 1, 2 women fighting for GOAT status. The fight under that, you got people fighting for a title shot. This is really fun.
I definitely think welterweight has been it's always between 155 and 170 for the most competitive weight class, I feel like, and I feel like in the last couple of years, 170 is starting to overtake that. Yeah, you're a lot of the 155ers that were dominating the division and bringing eyes to the division, Gaethje, Poirier, Conor, Khabib, they're all gone. They're all on their way out, whereas 170 seems to have a lot of the new talent coming in. Which
I think it's more competitive than 155 now, because, I mean, Ilya kind of showed up, and it's like, who the fuck beats this guy? Like,
yeah,
I don't think Armin's getting jelly-legged by, what fight was that? Like an early on contender getting jelly-legged and having to panic shoot. Who else could even fight for the title?
I honestly, I don't have a clue who could face off against Ilya right now and have a chance. I mean, the way that the first couple punches he hit Holloway with, the first time he connected, you could see Holloway go, oh shit. And then I don't know who could possibly come up and even begin to.
The only fun fight
at 155. He crucifixed Oliveira.
Yeah, I mean, Oliveira did immediately spin for a leg, and then Ilya jumped out of it. I was parroting that Ilya out-grappled him, talking point for a while, but Charles didn't let Ilya do any damage, and then positionally just kept flowing until, I'm going for a leg, and Ilya was the one that said, no, let me get out of here. You're not going to be on my leg.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, that's fair too. Man,
But still, like, the only competitive thing at 155, in my opinion, would be Islam versus Ilya. And if Islam's not going back there, I mean, no Islam's at 170. This just opens up so many things. If Islam wins, let's say that the UFC does what's right for once and they don't give Usman the title shot, then it's like Islam versus Brady. And it's like, ooh, I think Brady has some of the best jiu-jitsu in the entire sport. So that'd be an interesting matchup. If Morales somehow wins, if Morales wins, which we can just go on to talking about this fight, Sean Brady versus Morales.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that one because I will say I'm not super familiar with either of these fighters. I'll bet these are some of the newer guys.
So Sean Brady, the only loss he has in his entire career is to Bilal Muhammad, where he got knocked out by him, which is not the best look because I don't think Bilal could knock out my grandma. But other than that, he's been extremely dominant. He has I think, like as a jiu-jitsu guy, I really like watching his half guard system, how he goes from threatening the arm to the guillotine and then finishing that one arm guillotine against Leon Edwards. I thought that was really impressive. He's got some good wins over.
He did beat Edwards.
Yeah, he choked him out in round 3 or 4.
That was after Edwards.
Yes.
Fought Usman.
That was after Edwards lost to JDM. Or sorry, Bilal.
Okay, so I think I did watch Brady fight Edwards then. I think I did watch that fight.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good. Yeah, I think Brady's got some good wins over like some of the more aging welterweights when he was coming up, and then that loss to Bilal that kind of stung, and then he gets the win over Leon, and right after Leon loses the belt. So I think that, which was funny, is that Brady actually took that fight on short notice because JDM was supposed to fight Leon Edwards, and then Bilal said, no, actually, I want to fight pretty soon. So they said, hey, JDM, you're already in camp against Leon. Come fight Bilal, and we'll get Leon a new opponent. So Bilal kind of stole Leon's opponent. I think JDM would have killed Leon, but that's how that fight happened.
This is all starting to come back to me a little bit more as you're telling me this. I'm like, they did do a bunch of weird shuffling around last second on that, and I wonder how you've even.
So for Brady to go in short notice and like manhandle Leon looks really good, and I think especially after round 1 when he took down Leon and controlled him the entire time, then Leon's like, okay, I don't want that to happen. I can't get up, and so Brady starts lighting him up on the feet, landing some really good combos, and I like that, but. He's going against Morales, who honestly, I don't have a lot of positive things to say about Morales, except for the fact that his whole claim to fame is like that he's a freak athlete. He's been like pro in 2 other sports at like a national level, comes over to MMA, just starts starching people with his hands. I don't remember the names of all the lower class guys, but he knocked out, I'm pretty sure, a Contender Series guy. And then he got like 3 round 1 knockouts and then 2 decisions. And then his best 2 wins are Neil Magny and Gilbert Burns, both by round 1 knockout. But Burns got hit one time and just covered up. Like Burns seems like the kind of guy who's getting wobbled in the gym sparring, and he comes in and he's like, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it. And he just gets hit a couple times and his brain is like, oh, we've been here before. This happens to us all the time. We need to cover up. And that's kind of how Burns has been fighting recently. So this is Morales' biggest test. And he's gotten to the top 10 off some really good matchups like Magny and Burns. That's a good way to get into the top 10. And now you're going against Brady, who is, in my opinion, championship caliber. It's a big step
They're
up.
both like one of them has like 1 loss and the other one's undefeated, right?
Yeah, Brady has 1 loss to Bilal and
Morales is undefeated.
undefeated, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a hell of a title contention fight right there.
Yeah.
I mean I can see why they would say that because. So what? Marias, his last couple fights. Like I said, the last person he fought and beat was Burns.
And Magny before that.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a good one though. That'll be a really good one.
It's basically going to be. I could see Burns getting him. Or not Burns. Oh my gosh. Brady getting him down and either submitting him or controlling him to a decision. Because with the style of Brady's jiu-jitsu, I do like him to be able to work a bit more. So if it was 5 rounds, I'd say Brady submission would be good. But Brady decision or submission, and then if Morales is this freak athlete, like did you see the weigh-ins for that one?
I did not watch the weigh-ins.
Brady's about this much smaller than Morales. He's like looking up at him. So
oh yeah, that matters.
So if Morales is this freak athlete and he can just stuff the single leg and keep it standing, then it's going to get really interesting. But Brady has a lot of experience, so I think he'll be able to get it down to the ground, probably choke him out. Morales, I'm just not going to bet on someone I haven't seen fight world caliber competition yet.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, it's one thing to have an undefeated record. It's another thing to have an undefeated record in the top 5.
Yeah.
So, that being said, that leads us into the next one, which this I'm a little bit more familiar with. You got Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. I'm gonna be honest. I think Prates is gonna tear him up.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Leon is really, really good as a sniper that can set the pace and be measured and sit there and find his target. And he loses rounds doing that. And he allows the other person to play their game too much, looking for an opening. And that's a very dangerous way to fight at the World Championship level. Whereas Prates is on you, he's aggressive, he's dangerous everywhere, he's throwing wild stuff. I think punch for punch, I mean, you were saying this before, he hits harder than Leon, 100%. And so if Leon can't push that pace and bring that energy to him, which I feel like he struggled with, especially in his last couple fights, I'm literally sitting here on my couch being casual talking about it. It looks like he gives up. It looks like he gets defeated, and I mean, you can't always have a Rocky speech from your corner. Sometimes you just need to have the dog in you to be Rocky.
I think Leon's really good at, I won't even say being a hammer, but he can't be a nail. Leon cannot be the nail in his fights. He's best when he's like, I'm trying to think of like a lesser version of a hammer, like a very small hammer, just like kind of tapping on the nail, like just a little bit. Like the nail's not winning, but the hammer's not doing a lot either.
Just like a little mallet.
Yes, yes, like a javelin, not javelin, the judge like gavel.
Okay.
But like I think Leon fights to his level of competition. So like if you let it be boring with Leon will say, okay, yeah, we can be boring. Like if you throw 2 leg kicks and 5 jabs, he's gonna throw 6 jabs and 3 leg kicks. Like he's not gonna do he's gonna win that decision. So I worry about him versus Prates because if they're sitting there having a very low output, kind of like 1-2 off, Leon can do that the whole fight. But Prates, if he's doing that to you, he's gonna probably he's gonna knock you out more than Leon is gonna knock you out doing that. Like I think Prates can definitely get it done on the feet. I've been seeing a lot of people say that Leon can utilize his grappling here, and I don't agree because everything we've ever seen from Leon in his grappling is counter grappling. Like when Bilal took him down in round 5 of their championship fight, and Leon hits a pretty cool, I think it was like a John Wayne sweep or something out of half guard, and then gets on top of Bilal and starts raining down elbows. But we don't really see Leon shoot takedowns, and I just don't like the prospect of him having any type of striking match with Carlos Prates for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know. You bringing up the Bilal fight, that reminds me again of where was that energy for the first 4 rounds, dude? You know what I mean? Like when he finally turned around and started dropping the elbows, it's like, Leon, where was this at when you were losing every other round? You can't pull this out in the last minute of round 5 and hope you get the finish.
Yeah, I mean, he got dunked on his head. I think that's what happened.
Okay, yeah, that's to be fair. I forget that was really bad. I mean, he did get dunked on his pretty hard.
Yeah, Bilal turned him into a Lego man.
Yeah, I mean, and Bilal, I was a Bilal hater at first. And now I'm a Bilal hater again because the one time that I ever decided that I was going to finally hop on the bandwagon and put money on Bilal was when he fought JDM.
Oh, so, you should have talked to me first. I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, see, I didn't know all that. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm tired of losing to these neck beers. I'm going to throw some money on it. Nope, yeah, don't bet, kids. It's bad for you. But
if you do bet, come to me. I'll give you my parlays and we'll make millions together.
Yeah, well, you know what? No comment. You're right, because I know I can. All I'd have to do is look up my history and be, yep, nope, I'm not the one to talk to on that one. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see Leon put on a decision or put on a performance on the last decision. I just
if
don't.
If he wins, that's how it's gonna be. I just can't envision. I can't imagine waking up Sunday morning and being like, that Leon finish was really good. I can't believe he finished Prates like that. Like,
yeah,
I can't imagine that. And I think Ian Gary is a trickier puzzle to figure out than Leon Edwards. I think Ian Gary is like next up.
I think Ian Gary is overhyped trash, to be honest.
Really?
I know, I just saw your eyes.
I think his footwork is
But
great.
he beat Protez, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, I don't know. I mean, okay,
He exposed Protez wrestling.
I'm not gonna call Gary trash because that's not fair. But Ian never does anything Ian says he's going to do. He acts like he's the definition of shoot for the stars and hope to reach a decent sized hill. And that combined with all the other negative publicity he's gotten, he's just too easy to hate. That's just
I don't like him at all, but like when I talk about his fights, I mean, he does have a good style. He's very elusive, light on his feet. He's got a decent kicking game. It's mainly about trying to maintain the range. He's not trying to knock you out with head kicks or anything. He's focusing on his teeps and his leg kicks, and then he's got a good ground game. I think he's just really well rounded. Like he knows what he wants to do on the feet. He's not going to be that knock you out, like step in, right hand, leave you like cold on the canvas. Like he's going to be the elusive guy. And then when you make a mistake, he's capitalizing on it. He'll throw combos. He will duck under a hook and shoot for the legs. He's just very well rounded. I think he's like I don't think he'll ever be a champion, but I think he's gonna end up being like a top 10 gatekeeper for the new division.
I can see that. I can agree with that.
Because I feel like we're just kind of getting out of this like era where you can be a one-trick pony and really succeed. And I feel like some of these guys that like we're looking at, we're like, you're not going to be champions, but that's the new class of like, here's how good you have to get through me, and I'm this good if you want a chance to move on. And I think Protez failed that test at first because I don't think he just hadn't been wrestle fucked before, and then now I think Protez is high enough fight IQ to make some adjustments, which I don't think he needs in this fight because Leon isn't going to take him down. Protez wants to be here with him. He wants to stay standing. But then after this, when we look at what's next for Protez, I think he's high enough fight IQ where he can make the adjustments he needs to and possibly string together a couple more wins toward the title shot. I don't see Leon doing that.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I think Leon's definitely on his way out. I mean, he had his moment of glory. I'm not gonna say moment of glory. The man went.
The headshot dead is his moment of glory.
That was his moment of glory. I mean, he earned that. I still think he got sparked on the feet by Nate Diaz, but I mean, that is what it is.
And like, you know what's funny is that every time that Leon gets kind of wobbled on the feet, which is quite often, it's versus southpaws. Protez is a southpaw.
Okay.
And I think if Nate Diaz is leaving you on chicken legs, Protez is leaving you on a stretcher. I think
that's kind of where
he touches people and they just he almost has that Pereira thing at 170.
Spinning elbow knockout.
Yeah,
on the last fight.
With 1 second left against I know his name, Jeff Neal. Spinning elbow with 1 second left, and then before that was the Ian Gary fight, and then before that he knocked out Neil Magny with a left hook that barely connected. It was like two of his fingers hit at the top of his temple, and Neil Magny goes.
Yeah, he's got the power versus Leon's precision, and the power mixed with the aggressiveness that Leon doesn't have. I think we're in agreement on that one. Which, I guess that leaves us with one more in the main card, and then I do want to go into the Bo Nickel fight just a little bit, just because Bo Nickel.
More than happy to.
But you look so happy today. You're grinning from ear to ear on that one. Darius versus Saint Denis.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to rage bait at least once on my pod.
Okay.
Darius was never good. Every time he's fought somebody decent, he's lost. Let's look up his record. I'm not going to just talk. I have Google right here. Let's see.
I was going to pull the Tapologies up on the screen before we started, but I kind of came in late.
Yeah, I honestly should have thought about that and been smarter. But hold up. All right, let's see. We got Darius, which... Let me see. Yeah, he beat Moicano by decision. Didn't fight at all last year. And then Last year he loses to Arman, or 2023 he loses to Arman and Charles, round 1 knockout. Congratulations, you won a decision against Gamrot in 2022. And
That is a decent win.
you beat Diego Ferreira and Tony Ferguson by decisions in 2021.
2021 Tony was not completely dead. I mean, he definitely wasn't prime Tony, but there was still a soul in there.
So he's got one semi-decent win in 5 years, which is a decision win against Moicano, who didn't make it two rounds. Did he make it 2 rounds? Yeah, he made 2 rounds into the title fight. He did good. I think he actually dropped his arm, didn't he? In the first round?
I mean it was a slip.
It was a slip. Okay.
Yeah. I'm a Dagestani hater, so he did drop him, and he was a flash knockout, and then Islam just happened to recover, but it was a slip.
Okay, fair enough. So like, I feel like Darius he was never that good. I don't know.
I feel like there's certain parts of his game that are good enough to keep up. Like, I think Darius is the best scrambler in the division.
Okay.
His actual wrestling, not the best, but like, if you want to take him down, good luck, dude. He is not gonna. He's like a JDM. He's not gonna accept position. He's just gonna keep moving. It's hard to hold him down, which is where I think Benoit works really well, when he can hold you down and start working towards the submissions and working towards good ground and pound. So it's going to be really interesting because Benoit has not really hurt anybody on the feet. I mean, he landed that nice head kick on Frivola, but also that's Matt Frivola.
Yeah, I'm looking now, and it's like when he's fighting against really good strikers, he's getting finished.
To be fair, I mean, I was on the Benoit hype train. I picked him against Poirier, but see, like Benoit is weird because his striking does actually suck. It's terrible, but like, what happened in that Poirier fight? You take him down round 1 and basically destroy him, almost get a submission, land some good ground and pound, and then the round ends and Poirier stands up and you're like huffing and puffing, getting back to your feet, can barely make it back to your corner. It's like, dude, what happened? You won that round. That's how that was best case scenario for you, and you're so gassed out. But he did have that staph infection, and he comes out and gets murdered in round 2. But then, so like now we know, okay, his striking does suck, but his grappling is really good. Then he goes against Moicano. Moicano takes his back off a body kick and then mounts him and starts raining down elbows and gets a doctor's stoppage. So it's like, okay, your grappling isn't top tier and your striking isn't top tier. What's going on? But then he proved that he is high enough level to be like a Mauricio Hoofy. He fraud-checked him. He beat him a couple months ago. So now let's see. Like, you can beat Hoofy, who's a good unranked lightweight. Now you're jumping right back up, which the UFC wants this guy in the top 10 for some reason, because he got Poirier off of beating Matt Frivola, and then loses to Poirier, loses to Moicano, should get kicked out of the rankings, beats Mauricio Hoofy, and now he's getting like number 8 Beneil. So the UFC wants this guy up there. I think he's going to be able to do it. I think they know Beneil is on his way out. He looked terrible at weigh-ins, and he missed weight. They have a 1 pound allowance, and he came in at 172.6 or 0.2, so he missed by 1.5 pounds.
Beneil did?
Yeah.
For this fight?
Yep.
And doesn't he have a history of weight issues?
I think he's missed weight twice in the UFC. This being the 3rd time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But he did not look good at all. And I know, like, when fighters get older, they usually have to move up in weight because their body doesn't want to keep cutting the weight. So I think Benoit is going to get it done. I have 3 bets on Benoit to win in every round.
Okay, so you really think Benoit is going to get it done? Okay.
I do, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think I'm agreeing. I think that Benoit's but Darius is really I don't really see either of them breaking.
I think prime Beneil would beat current Benoit, but Beneil's old and he's kind of sat his career out. I mean, those 2 knockout losses back to back, that's really bad. But like, Now you're what, like 37, 38 years old at lightweight. Benoit's what, 23, 24? No, I think he's probably 20. No, never mind. I'm dumb. I'm really dumb. He's like probably 28, 29.
He's 29. Yeah,
Yeah, 29. I'm really
Benoit's
dumb.
30. Benoit's 36. Benoit's 29.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, yeah, 36 years old at 155. You're
And with a
past.
bad weight cut, like that's
And
gonna
I'm sure
suck.
that the age is probably making the weight cut worse too. Yeah, I'm gonna go Saint Denis on that as well.
Yeah.
So, well, that settles the main card.
hmm
Now we get the bonus, which is Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira.
I think this fight should be a fight further down. I don't think it should be headlined in the prelims. I think RoboCop versus Kopylov is a better fight.
When do you think that Bo Nickel's hype train's gonna end?
I think it's already over.
You think it ended?
I don't think it corporately will ever end. I think they'll. Actually, I don't know about that. I bet I could see Dana behind the scenes be like, "Hey, kid, if you don't win this one, it's over. You're going to the back. Like you're going. We're gonna kill you. Like we're gonna cut you." Because they basically just got him into the UFC immediately, and then, bro, he was on the main card of UFC 300. It's so crazy looking back.
That's insane. Even when they did that, I remember being like, "What are we doing?" And then you just lost
got
to G.
so
Ryder.
many former champions on the prelims.
You
That
get
was crazy.
absolutely dismantled by Buddy Ritter, who then turns around and gets
Loses to Brendan Allen by retirement.
yeah. So it's like
And that's the second time DeRitter's done that in his career. When he fought for one championship or whatever other, it was either one or Bellator or something, and he quit like that on his stool as well.
which I mean, to be fair, he didn't quit. His coach threw it in, didn't he? I'm pretty sure.
The coach said, "Can you fight?" He said, "No, I can't."
Well, this is where people are going to tell me that I'm a puss, but like, if you can't get up, there's no point going out there and getting another year taken off your life. I feel like the coach made a good decision. D. Ritter was losing terribly. He was struggling to get off of his back at the end of the last 2 rounds, I want to say. And like at that point, yes, coach, come in and be like, you know what, you lost. You lost 10 minutes ago. There's no reason for you to take more time off your life just to prove a point to fans. You've already made your money. You're not going to win the fight. All you're going to do is lose money for more medical bills. So
I agree. I think that's a good thing for a coach to do, but I don't like hearing a fighter say it. Like, if I was just getting like the brakes beat off me, and I go back to my corner and my coach comes in and says, "Hey, we're not going to go out." I'd want that to happen instead of the coach coming in and me going, "I can't go back out there." If I'm a coach and I hear my fighter say, "Yeah, I'm done, coach. I can't go out," like that's going to make me think like, does this person have what it takes? You know, especially at the highest level of the sport. Rainer Ritter's 1 win away from a title fight. And you're saying, I can't continue, and not your coach calling it in. If the coach, like, I agree, if the coach saw that and made the call to throw in the towel, 100%. But to go and ask your fighter, can you continue? And your fighter goes, no, I'm done. I don't like that at all.
that's fair.
Especially going into a fight versus Hamzat, where, like, say what you want about Hamzat's cardio, the pace is going to be high. It's going to be high. You're going to get tired. I mean, I know Hamzat didn't like get close to finishing Dricus or anything, but Dricus was exhausted at the end of that fight from just getting positionally dominated. Having someone hold you in a crucifix and you not being able to get out is very exhausting.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I mean, it's. I guess you have to have that champ mentality, as Joe Rogan was just saying earlier. But you know, like, you got to have that delusion to a degree. I've heard Michael say this plenty of times. You got to be delusional to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, so that's understandable. I just think that considering the competition that he's been facing off against, which I think that also just has something to say about Bellator. I mean, because every time it seems like we get somebody that's hyped up to be the next big thing. But now, granted, none of these guys are coming up for these other organizations in their prime, and I think that's intentional. I think Dana does that intentionally. Mm-hmm. I think he waits until they're at the end of their career to pull them in and say, "Oh, we're better."
Also, they don't. Well, the fighters don't want to go to the UFC until later in their career because, in my opinion, what they're doing is like when you're in your prime. I mean, and this is a real I guess probably dilemma that a lot of fighters have is like, okay, here's organization B where I'm fighting probably like the top 10% of like fighters in the world, but if I get to the pinnacle of this, which I won't be the best in the world, but I'll be the best in this organization. They'll pay me this much money, a lot of money. Like the Bellator guys, the champions, they make good money because Bellator knows once you make your name, you're going to want to go to the UFC. So they say, "Hey, MVP, please don't go to the UFC. Here's 400, 500K a fight."
Mm-hmm.
So then MVP goes, "Oh, okay, I'll keep crushing cans for 4 or 5 years and make my millions, and then I'll give it a chance in the UFC."
Yeah.
So I think that's what a lot of the athletes doing too.
I've seen even at the amateur level guys talking about that constantly. They're like, why would I go to the UFC just for the publicity where I can go someplace else, fight less competition, and get a bigger bag?
Yeah. I think it ties into the delusion of the fighter because like when you first start training, it's like, oh, I want to be the best in the world. I want to be the best in the world. And UFC is best in the world. So that's where you want to go. And then I feel like there probably comes a point along most people's journey, if they keep with it, where you're like, okay, I've been training for 7, 8 years now. And, I've fought and competed and tested myself. And maybe I'm not going to be the best in the world, but now I've got a wife and kid to look after. Now I need to go over here. Like, it's like a change. I think if you want to be the best, you need to try and make it to the UFC. If somewhere along the way you take a couple losses and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make it there, and you've got, a family to provide for, go to one of these other organizations and just, fucking still do your best, obviously, but it's not that you're just not going to be fighting the pinnacle. But getting back to the argument, not argument, but the point you're talking about with Rainer de Ritter quitting is that I think Bo quit against Rainer. Like, you talk to any guy who's trained in the gym and like you take knees in the clinch. And I know Rainer de Ritter is really good at knees, but I feel like he was almost expecting to get countered when he threw that right hand. You watch that finishing sequence and Nickel was like throwing it out there and he gets hit with it and it's not even like a try and come back. It's just, oh, I'm done, cover up.
Do you think that he broke him mentally before he broke him physically? Because I feel like, again,
I don't think Bo's getting those hard rounds in. Like when you think about like who Bo Nickel is, he is the prodigy child of wrestling, and he's got like Gable Stevenson, the heavyweight that's just turning pro in MMA, and he took that boxing match and whatnot. Like, look at how people were treating him. That's how people were treating Bo when he first started. Like, future champ in the making. Like, it's a bunch of these old guys that remember like the old US wrestlers that were like the first wave of UFC champs and stuff, and like they start promoting these guys like that. When you really get a good wrestling talent, they're like, this guy's the next champ, this guy's the next big thing. And granted, Gable Stevenson is an athletic heavyweight, which is pretty rare, so he could do it. But they were saying the same thing about Bo, and then. Like, I'm sure Bo gets really hard wrestling rounds in, and he comes to MMA, and I bet he gets, like, a bunch of good training partners. And when he goes to AKA or American Top Team, like, I bet he does get good rounds. But I've seen him in the lead up to his fight say he's been doing most of his camps at Penn State Wrestling. And they just have, like, some heavy bags up and stuff, and they spar. And it's like, dude, you need to be
going against world-class MMA fighters, not just world-class wrestlers.
Yeah, we're not doing the same thing that made you the best wrestler in the world. You should want to be the best MMA fighter in the world. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like he just isn't going to do that. But Rodolfo Vieira is a big step down in competition.
Yeah,
so,
see, I don't even know the name, but honestly, I couldn't tell you anybody Bo Nickel fought before he fought them besides Deere. I mean, Bo Nickel, they keep trying to hype him up like he's going to be this big thing.
He did beat Paul Craig.
Yeah, but like...
He also didn't take him down. I didn't like the look of that. I didn't like the look of supposedly the best wrestler, one of the best wrestlers of all time, best college wrestler of all time, comes into MMA and he's too scared to take down a jiu-jitsu guy.
Who's not, like I said, like he just.
Now listen, you're not going to make fun of Paul Craig, the Paul Craig triangle, or the Paul Craig body kick of doom. You're not going to make fun of either of those things.
Okay, well hold up. Let me just.
Those two things are world class.
Okay, let me just look something up real quick.
You know who Paul Craig submitted?
I'll look it up.
Ankalaev. He's good. He's good off his
You
back.
mean the Paul Craig of the 17-10 record?
Yeah, but look at some of those wins. They're good wins.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a loss to.
I didn't say look at the losses. I said look at the wins.
Well, when I pull his name up, all I see is losses.
Just scroll back.
Well, dude, I gotta keep scrolling. Yeah.
Keep scrolling.
Hold on, I gotta scroll to the second screen. I got
That's fine.
Modestus Bukasa.
Bukowskis.
See, I'm glad you're there so loses that in round 1. No contest to Rodolfo Bellato.
That was the one where the dude faked the up kick going out when he came back and he was like.
All right, so unanimous loss to Bo Nickel. Kyle Burrell knocked him out, which okay.
Yeah, Kyle's decent.
Yeah, Brendan Allen subbed him.
Brendan Allen's good.
He beat Ross Cooper.
No, dude, Ross Cooper.
I think that's a grappling match. I don't think that. Yeah, that was not MMA. That was a grappling match. He won against Andrew Muniz. Lost to Johnny Walker. Brother.
Just look at the wins. Ankalaev is a good win.
Where's Ankalaev on here?
He snapped Jamal Hill's arm in half. He's dangerous off his back. But if
are you talking about a 2018 win?
Yes.
So you're talking about how this guy was fighting when I was in middle school?
Yeah. He's still dangerous off his
Well, and
back.
I wasn't in middle school in 2018. I was a senior. Oh my gosh. I feel old and that made me sick and I want to end the podcast. Yeah, I was class of 2018, so you're telling me.
But his skill set hasn't degraded. See, like I wouldn't be talking about like one of Beneil's old wins because Beneil isn't there anymore. Like Paul Craig is still dangerous off his back, even though he retired. Like he is still dangerous off his back. Like there's a reason Bo Nickel didn't want to take him down. So okay, you're saying oh he doesn't have any of these wins. Bo Nickel wouldn't take him down. He was so scared of that
that's what I'm saying.
takedown threat. Yeah.
Yeah, let me be clear. This isn't Bo Nickel hype. I'm trashing on this guy so I can trash on Bo Nickel more.
Even harder.
Yeah, okay. You see what I'm saying here? Because all I'm saying is as a casual, and I will admit to everybody, I'm a casual. It's okay. I'm 0-1. Okay? If I wasn't 0-1, I wouldn't have to have the undefeated guy come on the podcast and tell me when I'm wrong. But every time I recognize a name, he's lost him. Yeah. The only name that I recognized that he's beat was Jamal Hill. And Jamal Hill lost by injury.
Hey, man, he's got 2 world champs on his record.
Yeah. You know, he got robbed against Piera. Piera cheated to beat Hill totally. That red stoppage just totally.
Yeah, it was bad stoppage, man. Jamal wasn't even unconscious. He wasn't dead yet.
Yeah, even though he, started that exchange that got him knocked out after the ref told them to. But yeah, he got caught off guard, guys.
So speaking about Bo Nickel, his opponent, he's decent. Like he is a legitimate PJ black belt. Competed at ADCC. Pretty sure he did well in ADCC, and he's won like 80% of his matches by submission. If Bo takes him down, this is a Paul Craig situation. We're looking at a legitimate submission threat. That means that I think Bo is probably going to try and keep it standing, and I could see his opponent shooting some takedowns, and Bo, because he has the wrestling credentials, like I could see him sprawling, getting out of it, maybe riding the back a bit. But I mainly see Bo striking on the feet and getting another boring decision, and a bunch of people being like, "Oh, that wasn't that good." Like we expected something better coming back from that.
And I think he's fallen into that trap too now, where they overhyped him so much. If you don't dominate anybody outside of the top 15, you're gonna get trashed on. Mm-hmm. And you did that to yourself by acting like by coming in here running your mouth fighting cans talking about Chimaev can't touch me.
Yeah.
And it's like,
100%.
it's one of those things too.
But I
where
feel like the UFC was also saying that stuff to him. That's what I was talking about with like, I feel like Bo probably could have been a good product, but he has all these people around him and like the general public that is like, oh, wrestler, he's gonna be the next best thing. So he's like, I'm just gonna keep doing whatever I've been doing. And maybe he made some big changes and he comes out there and we see that he's got that dog in him now and he's throwing combos in the pocket and sitting down on stuff. Like if he does that and he knocks him out and not this like, oh, I'm going to take 5 takedowns and then come in and land a shot that he was doing to like the really unranked guys, like the regional guys that were pulling in for Bo Nickel to crush. If he can go out there and walk down a legitimately good grappler, keep it standing and knock him out, okay, I'll say fair play, Bo Nickel. But if he does this, like, am I going to take you down? Nope. Oh, jab. Oh, and do this the whole round and like win a boring decision, I'll be very sad, and I'll probably just like stop paying attention to him because he'll forever be like a if he wins this fight boringly, he probably staying ranked is going to be hard for him in his career.
Yeah, it's like you've got one aspect of the game. You don't have a real threat on the feet other than catching people that are worried about your wrestling. But you don't want to stay on the ground that much because your jiu-jitsu isn't high enough level for you to defend against the high-level submission threat. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're sticking yourself in this weird gray area and expecting to dominate. And just from having one aspect, you got 30% of it down, and then, I mean, what about your clinch work? What about...
That's where he got beat up by DeRitter.
DeRitter was like, oh, wrestling, welcome to Muay Thai. And then his whole world changed. And you watch, like you said, like, I'm sure a little bit of him did quit. He looks like somebody who hasn't, and we've seen this. We've seen this at the amateur level, man. The first time I ever really watched Phillip absolutely tear through somebody, it was some, like, OTC card or some shit. But it was way back when Michael was, like, younger. It was when he fought that big dude that, I don't remember. He's had so many fights now, But I remember watching him fight as like the co-main or something for that event. And, the guy that he's fighting kind of hung with him on the feet for a couple rounds. And then the second that he decided to switch to clinching and throwing those knees, it's just like if you haven't trained for that before and you've never eaten those shots, that's not the place you want to find out just in a ring and drive a crowd. And that's what it looked like to me when Bo Nickel fought DeRitter was, man, this is something I haven't seen before, and that really surprised me considering how well they've sold him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, man, I think that pretty much sums it up for the card and everything. Is there anything else you really have on your mind you're thinking about? Or
No, I guess I never really even like introduced myself.
My God, yeah, dude.
I'm one of. If you made it this far, thank you. I'm one of Apex Combat Institute's full-time fighters. Looking at taking a fight early 2026. Yeah, I'm the rival FC heavyweight champion, 3-0. Looking to get back into it. I've been doing some jiu-jitsu comps, but I'm just now getting really back into the groove of training full-time. Looking to do some big things in 2026.
Yeah, no, Sam, you've been doing phenomenal. I mean, everything in your career so far has blown everybody away. So
it went too well, though. Yeah, I want to get some good comp, and because like I don't want to be the guy that's finishing everybody in the first round because like it makes me scared of like, oh, when I do run into that challenge, I'm not going to be able to surpass it. So I want to go down to 205 because I'm not fighting until I get to 205 and get some big names in quick, and like some people that I definitely shouldn't be able to finish in the first round and like test myself, start getting some more Emmy belts, and then we'll see how I look at 205. If I'm still a little fat, then maybe we take it down to 85. Okay. We're gonna figure it out because I'm just right now I'm just a big dude. I'm not a real heavyweight. I'm just a fat guy. Like when I got into training, I was 400 pounds, and like I told myself I wasn't gonna get in the cage until I was 205, and then I watched I think it was 2023 Rival FC, and where do we usually have it? At the racetrack. What's it
Yeah,
called?
that on the racetrack.
Yeah,
You took
at
a
Beacon,
Dragway?
Beacon Dragway, and I saw got to watch all my teammates fight, and I was like, oh, I can't help but I got to get in the cage. So that's why I started fighting at heavyweight. But now I'm 3-0, and I'm not gonna lie, all these dudes that people are offering me are scary as fuck. So I'm not a real heavyweight. You want to ask me to fight a real heavyweight? Like, I guess I know you're supposed to have the fighter delusion, but then they send me someone that's like 6'5" and they weigh in at 265, no weight cut with abs. Like, oh, I don't want to fight that dude.
Well, I mean, you've definitely established yourself, though, with the way you stepped in and handled business at the weight that you have. And I think that really shows your growth as an amateur fighter to go in and say, okay, I've got 3 wins. I'm not being challenged enough. I have these goals that I want to reach that you talked about before, cutting down to the weight. I know you're talking about that before you fought last time.
Yeah.
That no matter what, you were talking about going down and becoming the best fighter you can be. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's what you want at the amateur level. So there's absolutely no shame in looking at something like that and going, okay, so this is the next step in my evolution. I'm doing good here. What's next? And hone in the hammer, or hone in the hammer. Jesus Christ. Honing in a little bit and hammering in what you want and how you want to shape that career, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, your podcast, we had a lot of views. A lot of people loved coming on and seeing what you had to say. And so one of the reasons I had to reach out to you for this, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, every time we talk about the cards, you are an encyclopedia. If I tried to do this on my own, I would have failed miserably. I was telling Dalton at the beginning of the day, I was like, man, like, I know these names, but I don't know enough. I need to reach out to somebody who really is knowledgeable in those areas, and that was you.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. No, well, I'll definitely have to bring you on more.
Yeah.
So, and Apex, I mean, they do. We'll give them a shout out too. They just announced today that they're going to be moving over to what is the name of that place?
CrossFit Dig Deep. They are Apex. I'd say Metamorphosis and Rough House is merging with CrossFit Dig Deep. So we're going to have a bunch of new. We've got a way bigger facility now. We're upgrading on the mat space. It's basically a fully functional gym, 24-hour access. It's got everything Rogue branded. Like, we got 6 Rogue air bikes. We got a bunch of power racks, all the weights you could want. We're looking at like how many classes we're going to be getting. Like, we know we're going to be having boxing, jiu-jitsu, and CrossFit. Maybe some wrestling, maybe MMA, probably some MMA classes, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we got a lot of interesting things coming out of there. And once we all start fighting, we have our first debuting fighter, Kalissa Self, fighting on the 22nd. We're going to be showing out at Rival FC to support her. Pierce Owen also fighting on that card. Screw you, Pierce, I love you. And yeah, I think we're going to get off to a bang with like that being Apex's first MMA fighters to take fights. And then come 2026, we've already got a bunch of jiu-jitsu competitors, but then you're going to have like me, Pierce, Kalissa, probably some other people taking MMA fights and leading that. I think it's going to be really cool.
Awesome. And yeah, no, I cannot wait for the show next week. Austin, everything he's done so far, man, you can tell he really has a vision for the community and what he's wanting to build.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he has continued to exceed expectations. Upgrading buildings twice now, and then in less than a year, right at a year.
405 days.
Yeah, 405 days. Yeah, man. I mean, the growth has been exponential. It's really opened up the community, created more conversation, and that's something we definitely need around here. So, yeah. Is there anything else? Anything else you want to shout out or anything like that? Or
go follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Samuel Sloan. Keep up with what I'm doing. I've got some big things planned for 2026, and just want everyone to stay along for the ride. It's going to be a fun one.
All right, guys. And, I mean, obviously, like and subscribe. We got the JMA podcast. If you're not following J. Murray Athletics, we're going to talk about the Rival FC card coming out. We are hosting Rival FC's first ever pay-per-view. So,
I may be commentating. Who knows? I may be commentating. Who knows?
Okay. Then we'll definitely look at. I know this is going to be something totally different for Rival. Being able to have that stage. All of you guys who are following our channel, who might be in the New York area, who might be in some of these other areas, to hear us talking about these fighters, have seen them come on the show. If you guys want to watch what we are about here in Paducah live, head over to jmaryathletics.com. Secure your slot today for the pay-per-view. There's 200 viewing slots open right now. We've already sold a few tickets, so get your slot before those sell out. And yeah, keep an eye out for the JMA podcast. We'll also have a Rival FC presser happening next week as well. We're going to have some more information out about that over the weekend. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. Feel free to tell us how we're wrong in the comments about any of the picks that we've ever
I'm right about everything I said.
Yeah, Sam's right about everything, and that's because he's 8 weight classes above me and has 3 times the record. So I'm not going to tell him he's wrong. If you guys want to hop in the comments and tell me he's wrong, go right ahead.
I'm sure I have a certain 3-time kickboxing champ that'll have a couple things to say about it.
Okay. Yeah, my brain went
I was
numb.
about to say, bro.
I failed, man. You know what? That's what happens at the end of an hour and 15-minute long contest podcast. All right, guys. This has been MMA Brain with Jeremy Fairhurst and Samuel Sloan. And peace out, y'all.